So pretty much all I could do was say thank him for his apology and accept it.
He said, but I clearly did not intend to cause John McCormack to trip and fall over that low fence. Did you trip or were you pushed?
I mean, he knocked me. He knocked into me. He knocked into me, which sent me into the fence, which sent me to the ground. So whether he intended to knock me into an area without a fence, that may be true. But the fact is, I mean, he knocked into me, and I ended up on the ground because of it.
All right, why don't you walk our audience through, and we could show the videotape of this. Why don't you walk our audience through exactly what happened from your perspective?
Like I said, play-by-play, I asked that question. She declines to answer it. She takes one more question and then begins to walk away. And within a matter of seconds, I ask a question about why all these healthcare industry lobbyists are here supporting her at this Democratic fundraiser if she's supposed to be taking on the she's supposed to be taking on the healthcare lobbyists in Washington, D.C. And she didn't answer. And before I knew it, I got knocked into on my right side. I think it might have been a hip check. I don't know exactly how he hit me, but it pushed me into this steel railing, metal railing. I ended up on the ground, and then he actually helped me up. And he asked, "Are you all right?" And in my view, he was feigning concern, which is clearly displayed by the video. The fact that he continues to push up against me aggressively.
Well, that's the point. At the end of this video, and if we could just rack this up again. At the end of this, he's like in your face, and you're holding something up. And why don't you tell us specifically what had happened there?
Well, yeah, I'm holding up my tape recorder so it doesn't get broken, and also hoping that if anyone is watching, they see that I'm not pushing him. He begins to demand for my press credentials, and if there's any moment that I regret from last night, it's that I showed him my press credentials. Yeah. Because there's no reason that a private citizen of the United States of America...
That part right here. By the way, I want to just let... This is the part where you're holding up your credentials. He's obviously getting in your face. He's being overly aggressive here. And then, you know, you obviously have the right to walk on a street, don't you?
Yes, I mean any citizen has the right to walk on. Anyone has the right to walk on the streets, public streets in Washington D.C. and approach a candidate running for elective office. A question the candidate has the right not to answer, and reporters are right to have a right to repeat their questions. I'd spoken to Coakley before, and she answered some of my questions.
Last question, because we're running out of time, and you only wanted to ask about her comment that all terrorists have left Afghanistan, which is absurd, and I think it should be asked, so it's a good question. But Coakley said she's not privy to the facts surrounding the incident. Now, we have that picture where she's looking right at you on the ground. Is that disingenuous?
I mean, she could have easily asked her operative who was working on her campaign what happened. She was walking a little bit ahead of me, and she heard the clanging, and she turned around when she saw that, I believe. Again, I was on the ground, so I don't know exactly which way she was looking when the push happened. I assume she was looking forward, though. So I don't know. If she wanted to find out, though, I would have been happy to. She's more than welcome to interview me, and maybe I could interview her, and we could find out the truth.
Well, I think the answer to the question of if all terrorists have left Afghanistan is a good one. John McCormack, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Sean.
Now let's take a look at